Just letting everyone know the recording has started.
So Victoria, I think you just came on, so we're on mute for another 2 minutes or so, just kind of getting everybody set up, and then we'll take things away. So same Liz, I think you just came on too. Same story.
Dr. Miles, when you're ready to speak, just unmute your mic.
Okay.
Can we just run a
So
test? I just want to make sure I hear Dr. Miles.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello.
There you go. Very good.
Great.
Thank you.
So Kathleen, do we have most of our folks who have RSVP'd up?
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. We have about 10 that are not logged on yet.
Okay, so
But most of them-
we'll give ourselves maybe another minute or so, and then sometimes people come in at a later moment. Good morning, Dr. Miles, and everybody else who is on. As I mentioned earlier, most people are on mute because the initial part of this will be an on mute situation, and then after with Q&A, then it will be sort of open to the group as a whole. So. So what do you think, Kathleen?
Started.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. We'll
Okay.
get started. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome everybody. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. We are absolutely delighted that everybody has been able to join this virtual conversation. We, and most importantly, our students, thank you for participating and for your generous support. I have to give a special shout out to our President's Council members. I see many of you in squares. You look awesome. So thank you again for all the support that you give us, and our students truly thank you from the bottom of their hearts. Just for a little background, I joined the WCC Foundation Board in 2012 and served as a board chair and president. I'm currently chair of the Real Estate Committee and a co-chair of the President's Council. I have to say that WCC has truly changed my life, and I know it sounds absolutely hokey, but I can guarantee you that there are some in the squares here who feel similar. It is truly hard for me to imagine my life without WCC. And I'm a joiner by nature, so that means I participate in a lot of nonprofits, but this one is very special to me. As you know, the college plays a vital role in the county. And, you know, one of the things I love about working with WCC is that it's a microcosm of the life that we have here in Westchester. It's Westchester's largest educational institution, and therefore it's, you know, critical to Westchester's workforce. It's a critical employer itself, not to mention a significant purchaser of goods for the college, but also the students are using lots of services and often end up staying here, starting their lives. Today, we're going to hear from Dr. Belinda Miles on the recent successes and future initiatives for SUNY Westchester Community College. We're also going to hear from a student, Marilyn Rivera Resendez. She's going to give us her personal educational journey and her aspirations, and refer to the support that she's received from WCC and our generous donors. Just a little housekeeping item. So if you have questions and you're comfortable to use the virtual sections of the system here, please do. If not, we will figure out a way. If you have a question when we get into Q&A mode, if you want to raise your hand, and Dolores Swearin-Yao, who's on here, will get those questions organized for everybody. Now, just for a brief introduction of Dr. Miles. Dr. Miles is the president of SUNY WCC. She's now in her 11th year, and I find it hard to believe because it really feels like yesterday when you came, Dr. Miles. But of course, so much has happened here at the college. Graduation rate has doubled. You've introduced, so many innovative initiatives. I can't even start to sort of even just summarize them. So that being the case, we're going to leave that up to you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Joanne. Good to see everybody. Good morning. And yes, I'm in my second decade. That's how I'm describing it, Joanne, at the college that began on January 1st. It's a pleasure to see you all. And thank you for being a part of this special President's Council. I appreciate your commitment to the foundation, without whom we would be limited in the initiatives and entrepreneurial endeavors that we take on at the college. So we so appreciate that support, and that support means so much to our students, where you close the gap for so many of them with the scholarships that you provide. So I will jump right into some of the highlights of what's been happening at the college for your information. The big news is our enrollment growth. We have been working over the past decade on looking at how we can enhance the student experience, because we looked at data early on and saw that many students who were coming to us with great aspirations were not getting all the way through the college toward a degree completion, and decided to take that on head on. And the foundation was very, very helpful with looking at how we can understand better who our students are and what they need at different stages of their journey. When I came, I was hearing that, oh, we're a college of 12 1,000 students, and thinking, is it a large bucket of students, or where are they in their journey? How many are getting ready to graduate? How many came in 3 years ago, and where are they now? And those data points were startling at times. And so we recognized that we could do some tweaking and retooling of our own internal processes to help students, having stronger initial orientations. Don't just recruit them in and say, okay, go select your schedules. So helping students to get stronger onboarding is the term that we use, or better orientation. So we created a mandatory orientation, a simple thing. And if you give students optional, they're going to opt out most of the time. So they began to look at that service and better understand the various pathways that were available to them. We participated in the Guided Pathways Initiative, which was SUNY sponsored and also nationally recognized for looking at how the curriculum is aligned from start to finish, so students can see a clear pathway to getting that associate degree in 2 years or 3 years, and understand how to which courses they needed to select. But there was still a challenge in terms of how we had the schedule built. Could they actually get the courses they needed in a timely fashion? And that was a big effort to take on. And frankly, we weren't able to attack that fully until after the pandemic, when we needed to figure out how to get students back on campus. We looked very strategically about bus routes and how to get a full-time schedule in the daytime without splitting up the courses too much. So when we came back from the pandemic, we were able to increase our full-time equivalents, which is how we get funded through the state, with the same number of headcount of students. So we didn't need more students to get more full-time equivalents. We had the same number of students, but taking more credits because they can build a better schedule. That was a big endeavor and undertaking by our faculty and our academic deans. And I know I sound a little bit wonky when I describe that, to use your term, Joanne, but it does, there is an art and a science of academic scheduling. And that was a particular window of opportunity for our academic leadership to seize. They just came back, led by Dr. Vanessa Morris, the college provost, and several of the other deans and vice president of student affairs, Dante Cantu. They just returned from an Achieving the Dream conference in Philadelphia, where their session had standing room only. It was a packed session, looking at how they built the schedule. How did they manage the cultural change involved in shifting that schedule? And so they were, it was a hot item, and many institutions simply roll over the schedule. And again, if you miss that window, right, when we were coming back from the pandemic, to make the commitment to bring students back and build a schedule that will work for them, then that creates a challenge. And they're still seeing lower enrollments or too much dependency on online learning, because folks feel that that's a preference for many. So why come to campus? We were committed to bringing our students back. This campus is amazing, as you know. And I wish we were meeting in person, because it's such a beautiful day. And these are the best days I think in the springtime, to walk the campus and to be able to greet each other. And the students have really taken to that as well. So this is our 5th semester of growth. And we have, as of February 7th, we track this on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. We have we have the full 14-week schedule, and there's a first 7-week and a second 7-week. So there's always continuous enrollment. So the data do change day to day. But as of that date, we had a nearly 19% increase compared to last year, a 16% increase, and a 16% increase in our full-time equivalent. So again, that's how we get our reimbursements from the state. So we track those numbers very closely. SUNY WCC is the 4th highest credit, has the 4th highest credit enrollment amongst the SUNY community colleges. And we're the largest, with the largest non-credit program and the largest ESL program in the SUNY system. And that makes us the largest outside of New York City. So we don't, we understand where we sit with in comparison to CUNY. I mentioned the term pathways earlier, and we continue to have a very strong academic core here at the college. You'll know from our mission statement that our emphasis is on helping students to have access to a high quality education that gives them career opportunities. And career opportunities are for our associate and applied studies degrees, and those lead to credentials that help students get a job right out of with their associate degree. And we call those the middle skills careers that don't require a bachelor's degree, but need more than a high school diploma. And that's a sweet spot for community colleges, and we've excelled in that area. So our nursing program fits within that framework. Our graduates of our nursing curriculum leave us with an associate degree in nursing. They're able to sit for the NCLEX exam, which is the state's qualifying exam for them to become an RN. So they leave us as registered nurses, and they're able to go get employed at very competitive salaries and also have career advancement opportunities. So you probably have heard that there is clearly a preference for the bachelor's degree for those in the nursing profession, and many go on to get their master's and the like, but we get them started, which is very significant because there are a lot of students who wouldn't be able to start at the bachelor's level because of cost or some of the other criteria required for entry into those programs. So we are really that open door for many students who might otherwise not have an opportunity to advance or even get started in their chosen profession. Our radiology technician students, respiratory therapists, our EMT students, many students in the accounting field, our cybersecurity students. These are middle skills careers that give our students a vibrant entry point to well-paying careers where there's a career ladder available for them to continue to excel. The other half of the curriculum offerings really do focus on the transfer curriculum, more of a traditional liberal arts and science track that will allow them to transfer into their an engineering degree, a four-year accounting degree, a business major, and so forth, teacher preparation, and even pre-med and pre-law, because we provide those fundamentals in the liberal arts and humanities to get students started. And we have scores of articulation agreements with institutions that accept our students as juniors and accept their credits to help them to move on into those career paths that may eventually require a master's or doctoral degree as well. So we're excited about that. Our big access claim is on affordability because we do have the support of the state and the county as a community college in this region. So we offer classes at our main campus in Valhalla, you may be aware, as well as at 4 extension centers in Mount Vernon and Ossining, Peekskill, and Yonkers, where we're seeking branch campus status for that facility, which is wonderful. If you haven't been, I hope you'll have an opportunity to visit. We've enhanced our advising to students. So again, they're not just picking what some of the literature in enrollment management talked about, how we had built a cafeteria style of selecting courses for students, and they were just kind of grabbing whatever course they could find that fit a time slot. And we've come to offer them more of a plated meal so that we can say more directly, this set of courses will help you to get through the curriculum in a timely fashion, and then building the schedule so that they can take advantage of those courses. We've added an early warning system called Viking Success, which is gives our faculty an opportunity to communicate with support team members to if we see that a student has been missing classes or has some other is in need of intervention in another way. So more hands-on support. Now I've been at SUNY WCC, for 10 years. I've been higher ed for 10 times some number years, many years. And so I've seen things change quite a bit. There was a time where we would say, oh, well, we're not, we're not here to coddle the students, or this is the first 2 years of your baccalaureate study. And, students have to be college ready, or, they probably won't be able to succeed. But we've really changed that. We've flipped that paradigm. So instead of emphasis on the college ready, we want them to be college ready. We have a dynamic honors program that this foundation has really facilitated our ability to do. And so we're happy to support students there, but also being a student-ready college, understanding who's here and what they need has been important for us to do, and has helped us to retain more students and help us to get more students to the finish line. So we're excited about that early warning system. Another initiative is our Viking Roads initiative, which this foundation has again taken tremendous leadership and has had faith in what we've bought as a concept. I relocated from Ohio to come here and had participated in a replication of the ASAP study, accelerated study in associate programs. And so I had an opportunity to replicate that study again when I came here. MDRC is the evaluation team, and our chancellor, John King, sits on that board. So I did get familiar with his work, and he became familiar with the completion work that we do. And I was invited along with invited to bring WCC into the further replication of the ASAP model. We call our replication study ROADS. It's Resources for Obtaining Associate Degrees and Success. And so we will, and everything here in Valhalla is Viking oriented. So that in the background, you see the Chester the Viking over there. It looks like I'm choking him. That's my little mascot in the office. And so our replication of the study has been very successful, and it's designed to double 3-year graduation rates. And we did achieve that status, and we'll be celebrating that in a few weeks, actually, when MDRC comes out with some new announcements. And we're also the lead college in SUNY for replicating that study, which the chancellor and the governor have now put resources behind to expand to all 30 community colleges in the SUNY system, as well as to the 4-year state-supported institutions. So we like leading the way, not because we have such big egos. We do have some egos, but because we really are willing to stretch out and see how can we support more students? How can we look at evidence-based practices and expand them so that more students have an opportunity to succeed? So I'll take a breath in a minute so we can have a chance to chat back and forth. We're very proud of the work the foundation has helped us to achieve by creating the Robert R. Wiener Center for Excellence in Cybersecurity, which is a fantastic space. If you haven't visited, it would be nice to arrange time maybe for members of the foundation to come and see that amazing space, which has been designated a Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the National Security Agency, NSA. So we are grateful to Wiener Philanthropy for funding this experience for our students, which helps so many of them find a pathway that gives them a meaningful career opportunity. And we appreciate so much any engagement that our students have been able to have directly with Mr. Wiener, which has happened on occasion. And again, it sets them up for tremendous careers, and that's a growing field, as you well know. We're constantly on the lookout for what might happen. I don't know if Liz Rome is on the call. Is she? Oh, well, hi, Liz. I can't see you. I see 9 boxes, and so we're just so pleased to have the partnership that we have with the Wiener Foundation, and so grateful for just for the relationship that we've been able to develop to be direct about the needs of our students and how they can be supported. And this has been such a generous opportunity. I'll mention a few more investments that the foundation has made that have been transformative for the college. A new sim lab that we're expecting to open in the fall, September of 2025, just a few months away. When you think about it, times roll, things are moving so quickly. But we had the vision for creating a simulated hospital environment. This is something that's become increasingly popular at higher ed institutions, and the sim bodies are they're mannequins, but not just the kind that you see in a department store with fashion. These are devices that can mimic actual human functions. You can perform heart surgery, they breathe, they respond to treatments, and they can show you what it's like to have birth. And there are adults, male and female, and babies, male and female. And so it's really exciting to see what can happen with these in such a laboratory. But it gives students real world experience while they are in the classroom. And so we thank the foundation for helping us to fund this operation. It's equipment intensive, as it sounds, as well as technology intensive for these spaces to operate. And New York State legislation was passed in May of 23 that allows up to 30% of the required clinical hours for nursing programs to be taught in sim labs. That's a big deal because securing clinical spaces is a challenge. It's very competitive. And so this allows us, we're grateful for that legislation, it allows us to help those students qualify for degree completion. I mentioned the Honors College, which has had phenomenal success. We've had many students go on to highly selective four-year institutions from our Honors College, including several graduates who have gone on to the Ivy League, which was not unusual for us, but has multiplied our capacity to help students qualify and explore the vastness of their own intellectual endeavors. And they're doing well at Harvard and Yale, and it's become more of the norm. Columbia has been a regular, and many other fine institutions, including, of course, our fine SUNY four-year institutions. And lastly, regarding innovations, we're focusing on workforce development and community education and looking at investments in that area so that our students can see a clear pathway. Again, our associate applied degrees already put them on track, and because there are embedded opportunities in that curriculum, such as the nursing clinicals, students do get that hands-on experience while they're learning, but we want that to be available across the board for all curricular areas. And so very grateful for the work the foundation has begun to help us to prepare students for career opportunities in other fields. And as I plan to close here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the challenges that we're facing as an institution, particularly as we look at so much change that's happening around us in so many different fields. And our institution has been an open door institution. And by its very nature, the community college is one that has been very inclusive, because we've said we don't want you to be, if you're place bound, we don't want you to miss the opportunity to have access to a quality education. So we've opened our doors widely, and we've accepted many different students from so many different backgrounds who have been able to succeed and find their way through our programming. And so we know that we have you know from the foundation's investment in our beautiful Gateway Center that it was established as a beacon to welcome new Americans and newcomers and new English language learners. So um, that has been a real focal point, and we are also the founding college for the um, community college consortium for immigrant education, okay, which has now merged with the President's Alliance for Immigration and Higher Education. So we've watched very carefully as new English learners and new learners have come to our county and surrounding areas to amass skills and the like. So we have been monitoring many of the new executive orders, some that do focus on immigration policies nationally, so that we can have an environment where students can continue to feel safe and have assurance that the emphasis at this institution is on helping them to advance their education and their skills for future opportunities. And so with that, many of you may have received correspondence that I sent out to our student body as well as our employees on how to manage themselves and comport themselves if they are if they do have an encounter with an agency from ICE. And so our student government has taken on this matter by providing some know your rights information for our students. And so we want to make sure that we are paying attention to the details so that we can have an informed community and have our students be aware of what they should do in those circumstances, which is to direct those inquiries to our security department, which has been trained on how to intervene if necessary. So we have not had those occurrences at this time, but we like to use the model that we stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And so it's a little colloquial, but we're constantly looking around the corner. We have I sit with the 64 SUNY presidents with the chancellor on a regular basis. I sit with that President's Alliance on immigration and education and higher education, which is a national consortium of President's Community College and four-year. Uh, we have the county legal team that supports us in understanding the various laws that are passed or rulings that are passed or orders that are passed. And it's like a ping pong match. You're like, okay, what is the latest information? And so our bench is deep in terms of being able to pick up the phone and speak to the appropriate staff that can help us to interpret and understand how we need to keep our community informed. So we continue to be committed to fostering a safe and inclusive environment for our students and employees, regardless of immigration status. And so there has been some concern by students, but our classes remain full. Our parking lots remain full, so we haven't seen any attrition or loss of students, and we're constantly asking our deans and faculty to tell us what they're hearing. With the concerns that students have, we direct them to our Department of Mental Health and Counseling, which has a beautiful space funded by the foundation. Thank you again for providing that state-of-the-art, very modern professional facility for our students. And so we can focus on their mental health and emergency aid support that they need. So many things to thank this foundation for, that this college really stands head and shoulders above many others because of the work that you enable us to do through the generous support of donors and how you coordinate that and donate your time and focus on how to manage those resources. So as we look toward the future, we will continue with our career readiness emphasis. I'm working with the team. I'll be meeting with this afternoon on our new strategic plan, which does have career readiness as a central focus, and I believe will be meaningful not only for students, but also for our county businesses that will be recipients of that talent. So I'm going to stop here. That's a long talk, but it's my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Marilyn Rivera Resendez, who's in her second year at WCC studying psychology. And she's part of the Viking Roads program, so she can speak to that more directly. And please just know that even in my second decade, I continue to be inspired by our students. When I have an opportunity to meet with them in Maryland, I hope you'll stop by Harford Hall and we can set up some time to say hello personally. It's just such an exciting opportunity to watch their growth and to be a part of it and to know that we've made a difference in presenting them to the world a little bit differently than they came to us initially. So without further ado, Marilyn.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a lovely day. I'm very honored to be given the opportunity to speak to the WCC Foundation founders as a student representative. My name, as Dr. Miles said, is Marilyn Rivera Sendes. It's my second year at WCC. I grew up in the town of New Rochelle here in Westchester, but my family are all originally from Mexico. They immigrated here. My household consists of 4 people, my mother, my father, older sister, and I. And if you include my cat Sushi, it's a household of 5. My older sister and I would be considered first generation college students. Sadly, from where my parents are from, education wasn't really their first priority. It was survival. My parents grew up poor in a farm with a lot of siblings. For this very reason, I wanted to be able to do what my parents weren't given the opportunity to do. This motivated me to further my education. My parents were also big supporters and really wanted me to pursue my education. They would say that the only way you'll really get a good job in the US is by having an education. So I would say my family were a big factor as to why I'm in college right now. Not only to make them proud, but also to make it known that us as a minority, can do it. We can do a lot more in our lives. When it comes to why I chose WCC, I would say once again, if the big factor is my family, their main reason being financial benefits, since we run off one income, which is my father's, and my sister was already enrolled in college, which surprisingly enough is WCC. And it was less financially burdening to my father to have 2 daughters in community college. And I did see success in this college when it came to my extended family. I have 2 older cousins, which are WCC graduates. One who is further pursuing radiology, and the other created his own graphic company after graduating WCC, and he has become one of the first people in my family to actually own a house here in the US. I also knew that WCC was more of a reliable choice for me. I'm oh, sorry. I wasn't sure as to what major I wanted to pursue, and WCC allowed me the opportunity to explore which major was best for me. I went from like accounting to nursing, and then I ended up choosing to study liberal arts, social science, psychology concentrated. With this major, I've been given many opportunities in WCC. For example, the undergraduate Mercy STEM Ready Institute research program, I was given a chance to study a specific psychology topic during the summer of 2024. They had given me and my team a month to research, and it genuinely taught me a lot of skills that will be using in WCC and outside of WCC. After WCC, I plan on pursuing my education in Mercy University. I was able to get in contact with Mercy University graduates when I did the STEM Ready Institute research program. Hearing their firsthand experience and what they had done even during their education in Mercy really solidified what I wanted to do after WCC. I want to study psychology further and get my master's. I want to be able to teach people psychology and remove the bad stigma associated to it. I want to make people more knowledgeable about psychology. WCC also has been very supportive in my academic journey. Having originally chosen WCC because of financial burdens, I had to find a way to lighten the load even more for my father. After all, he had two daughters in college, and WCC gave me a solution. As Dr. Miles said, the Vikings Road program, I'm also a part of the Vikings Road program, and the Roads program has genuinely helped me so much throughout my college career here at WCC. From having good, genuine, amazing counseling from my counselor, and when I needed it the most, to having my financial burdens being lifted. Rhodes would aid me financially where my Pell Grant financial aid didn't cover. And when I first learned about Rhodes, I also pushed my sister to join it. And she did, and then that extremely helped me and my family. I love the Rhodes program. It's such a great program. They have amazing counselors there. The thing I really appreciate about WCC is also how involved I can get in the school. I'm a part of the Westchester Event Board, Web, and I have been given many opportunities to grow as an individual because of Web, but also develop my team bonding skills. I'm the evening chair, so I make evening events for that club. As Web, we get the opportunity to work and collaborate with the Department of Student Involvement, which is DSI, and which also had helped me connect and learn more about an internship I'm doing currently, which is the Get Involved mobile app internship with DSI. This internship has really been a great learning opportunity for me. It has helped me hone my skills further. And the people I work with DSI are very supportive and amazing people. I honestly would consider all of them my mentors. They've been so supportive and have always, like, my mental health comes first. And I love that. And then when it came to juggling my personal and professional life, it has been difficult. I've had to further develop my time management skills, and yet I still haven't perfected it. I found myself having to choose between my happiness or my future. And if do I do what makes me happy in the moment, or do I do what's best for my future? I have found a balance between that, but it does make it like a bit difficult when obstacles arises. Like recently, I'm kind of still, if you guys can see, like I'm still sniffling. I'm like, I got recently sick, and because I went to a 5 day long conference in Philadelphia, which was part of also Web, a great opportunity they gave me. It was a NACA conference, which is National Association for Campus Activities. And I found myself missing days I had planned for, and then now missing days I did not plan for because I got sick when I came back. And it was difficult to manage my time and manage the workload I was missing. But with the support of my WCC professors and advisors, I knew that everything was going to be okay. That even though I missed those days, I still had support behind it. And I also, something I had troubles, oh sorry, juggling was when managing my time that I spend home. I had two options when it came to that. I either had to take a 2 hour ride bus and walk home to get home earlier, or wait longer in school and get a ride in the late afternoons. More recently, I've chosen the second option because it gives me the opportunity to study at school but it also has affected how long I see my family and how much time I spent with them. Like during my first semester, I was primarily only a bus student, and I would spend honestly more time on the bus going to school and coming back to school than in my class. But at the end of the day, it was worth it because I was pursuing my education and I was willing to take those long, like 2 hour bus rides to go to school. And it was exhausting, but throughout time and throughout learning and my experience, I was better. I had opportunity to find a better balance between that, a balance I've grown more comfortable with. And that's it for my little speech. Thank you all for listening to me, letting me borrow your ears. I'm grateful to be able to have the opportunity to speak to the supporters of WCC Foundation, who behind the scene have been making mine and many other students' dreams possible. If I had more time, I would go on for hours about how special WCC has been to me, and I wish I could. I could ramble for hours. But WCC has been such a great opportunity for me, and it's really done wonders for me academically and even like mental health wise. Getting involved like has actually genuinely made me a happier person. So thank you guys for listening.
Well, thank you, Marilyn. That was a very personal story, and I think it's very helpful for us to, hear the challenges that you have and how you overcome them. So we are absolutely honored to support you, to continue to support you, and we look forward to your future achievements. So I think at this point, Dolores Dolores Swearingen, who is the executive director of our foundation. She has a 35 years in nonprofits and leadership. And I joke, but it's honestly true. Dolores has more energy than the Energizer battery that we see on TV. It's unbelievable. So we are delighted to have her as our foundation head, and Dolores is going to help with the questions. Dolores?
Thank you, Joanne. We have a question from one of our participants who sent it in advance, Hightower Trenton from the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship. This is a question for Dr. Miles. What do you think about funding tied to students finding a job?
Well, that would be really quite a challenge. It's a different uh, model than we've had for funding. And it would be exciting. I would have to wonder, where would that come from? Would it be something sponsored by the corporations, or would our governments be expected to fund that? So I'm open to exploring a variety of models. I've seen pay for success models. When I left Ohio, they had a completion uh, model for paying the colleges. And so that was quite a challenge to figure out how to get them through 12 credits, 24 credits, 36 credits, degree completion, et cetera. So I'm open to studying the model. I'd like to see, is it working somewhere? And perhaps we can explore that with our new career focus. I like the idea of venture capital, though. Just take a small percentage to get started, to study it and analyze, rather than looking at the whole thing. So NATSE, I think, is the way what we call that organization, has been very creative in terms of looking at ways to bring the entrepreneurial spirit to higher education, community colleges in particular. So let's check it out, because everything is changing.
That's great. Then I have a comment, not a question, but a comment from Guy Castellano, who's on the call, who is a Hartford Hall Society member. Guy is letting us know that he came to WCC thanks to the GI Bill and graduated in 1979, which allowed him to go on to a 4-year college and a great career at PepsiCo. So congratulations and thank you for sharing, Guy, and thanks for joining us today. That's a wonderful story, a different end of the spectrum from where Marilyn is. So it's great to hear the results. It's wonderful. A question for Dr. Miles is what would you say has been the biggest change the college has undergone since you joined WCC?
Well, it's so interesting because I thought when I came here that community colleges nationally were looking at their data, as I've described, the completion agenda was a big deal for community colleges, and we took that on head on, and we've really changed the trajectory for many of our students by changing who we are as an institution. You might recall when community colleges were often associated with remedial education or developmental education. And we've really, I want to say we've attacked that head on so that we've dramatically reduced the number of students who are in remedial courses by providing them with extra support, having a different model for how we place students in their classes, and it's working. And again, we are a leader in that area, and that's helping students to have a stronger start in being able to qualify for their courses that lead to degree completion sooner. So that is a big change. Now, I actually thought that my biggest leadership challenge, probably in my career, would be leading an institution through a global pandemic. And so, that started in many ways right here in Westchester. Like, okay, we're moving forward. And now there are so many new challenges to higher education that I think it just continues to go. And so all of these are disruptors, have been disruptors for us, have caused us to really look at who we are, how we're managing this mission, how we're supporting students when they come to us. So there are quite a few that I've experienced in my time here, and we're not done because we know that there are funding models that are the question from the entrepreneurship organization is spot on because we have to look at differences. AI is approaching. I think that we will be able to, we're preparing our students now for how to manage themselves in the context of the shifting sands of AI, recognizing that it's only as smart as we've all ever been. It can't think out of the box, literally. It only knows what it's fed. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of creativity that our students will bring to their studies and to their careers as we anticipate further change in higher ed.
Good. Marilyn, we have a question for you. Did you have and do you have a favorite faculty or staff member at WCC and why? What made that person special?
Well, I personally would say because as Westchester Event Board, we work with DSI a lot and there are advisors. I would say like Candace White, she's such a lovely advisor. She has advised me for last semester and this semester. I would also say like probably the whole DSI staff, Jessica Puerta, Marco, Tiago, like all of the staff is honestly amazing. But the person that really has supported me throughout these last 2 semesters is Candace White. She has supported me mentally, she has supported me as an individual and academic wise. She, even though she's not there for me academic wise, like she has supported me academically. And she has supported me with advising me on how to make events. It was just, it's so lovely working with her. Love her as a person. I love her as an advisor. And she recently came here to WCC and I see that she has done a lot for the Department of Student Involvement, and I'm constantly working with her because of the internship. So I like see that she is still working so hard to make student life way better and student life more enjoyable in Westchester Community College.
Thank you. Another question for Dr. Miles, if we have time for one more, is given the discussion among some in the current federal administration of disbanding the U.S. Department of Education, how do you think academic institutions such as WCC can continue to support our students?
Well, we have to work with the hands that were dealt. And that means that we know that the Department of Education has responsibility for disbursement of federal aid to students. So we have to look at where that aid will occur and how we can interpret those criteria for our students so that they can continue to be eligible for things like Pell Grants and some of the specialized funding for supports. Such as the Title V funding for students at Hispanic serving institutions, which ours is under a federal designation. Campuses that have enrollment of more than 25% of their students from Latinx background do get that designation, or other minority serving institutions. So we have to look very carefully at the kinds of resources that have come in and how we've used those resources. Our emphasis has been on helping students to complete what they've started and have opportunities for the future. So I think that our focus on economic mobility is going to continue to resonate. Foundations will likely be asked to contribute more and to be that bridge as we're looking at potential transitions. But we're, as I said, we're working to stay ready so that we don't end up having to be reactive and get ready. So and our bench strength has been deep. Our national organizations, the American Association of Community Colleges, the Association of Community College Trustees, and many others have been working with large private foundations to ensure that we can have the research and organize ourselves to continue to forge ahead with the goals of helping Americans attain education that's useful for them in their lives and in their occupational endeavors.
Great. Is there anyone else on the call who did not put a question in already, but who had a question for us? We probably have room for one more. I see Guy Castellano raising his hand. If we could unmute him, Margie,
Yes.
that would be great. There he is. And then you have to unmute yourself also, Guy. Click on that microphone icon at the top and unmute yourself.
Uh-oh.
He's not able to. I enabled his mic though.
Yes, I
Try
see
it
that.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay.
Allow mic.
Okay, well, we'll take your question and we'll if you email it to us, we'll try to get you an answer. Susan Ubis.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And you need to unmute as well.
Not working for her either.
Do you see the microphone icon at the top of the screen?
Got it. Okay.
There you go.
So,
Okay.
Dr. Miles, have we been notified already or yet about any reduction in federal funds due to either our course offerings or the student population?
We received an executive order 3 weeks ago regarding a funding freeze for programs associated with GEI, and that was by the end of that day that was halted. So yes, we're very aware of this dynamic. So again, we stay ready, and so we within probably an hour of receiving that. I think we woke up to that information on that Monday. We were organized. We had a list of our programs. We have looked at the language that's used to ensure that it's not limiting to a particular group. And we had actually had a challenge weeks before that that was made to the foundation because we had to determine whether or not our scholarships were need-based or were they gender-specific. And so we have received those challenges. It's there's been scrubbing of websites to see. When I say scrubbing, searching of websites to see is there some language that suggests that our policies are different than the ones the federal government is intending. And so we're okay because we do focus on financial need base. We use the FAFSA, and we use that as our primary screening criteria. And we've responded to the Office of Civil Rights, OCR, to explain what our process is. And so far we're okay. But we're talking about a lot of resources. If Pell is shut down, if other resources are shut down, it would be much more than we could simply patch up, even if the New York State stepped in to say we're going to help out. So this is something
Would be devastating, yeah.
we need to look at on a broad public policy level and be engaged in that process. So this shifts our focus to also tremendous advocacy. We're advocates on an annual basis to build our budgets, but now we're advocates alongside our trade organizations that I mentioned, AACC and the like, to ensure that our positions are understood and to also seek confidence for our ability to know what's good for the nation as well. We've been serving for many, many years, community colleges and all of higher education. Guy, congratulations on using the GI Bill. That's such an exciting legislation to transform who had access to education. And I would say that the Higher Ed Emergency Relief Fund, the HERF funding that we received over the past several years as a result of the pandemic, to me was the second major infusion of resources like the GI Bill that really has, that one really helped secure people, and the HERF funding helped secure our institutions. It was a grand gesture on behalf of American higher education, and we have a role to play moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to Joanne.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Miles, for an incredibly inspirational and informative session, and for being so frank with us about what is going on today. And, I guess that's one thing, but more importantly, you give us confidence to be the leader during what may prove to be quite difficult times. And certainly we thank our donors for always being with us, because we realize we will assist in that advocacy that you referred to, as well as generous support. Mary Lynn, it was so wonderful, as I said earlier, to just hear your remarks about your life, where you would like that life to go, and just for being so honest and telling us your very personal sentiments about life and where you're likely to end up. Again, I just said it earlier, but our supporters, we are so happy. And I think, Dr. Miles made a comment, and it's an absolutely accurate one. The college may very well have to rely on us more than it has in the past. And, we understand that, and, we'll do our best and utmost to make that possible. In terms of the future, we'd like to keep everybody informed, just as you have got here, but also to have some fun together. So we are going to have we have a gala now that we do once every 2 years or so, and we have our pre-gala cocktail reception. We're going to send out an email to that effect, and it's going to take place on Wednesday, March 19, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. I don't know if anyone knows, but the WCC has an art gallery on its Valhalla, the main campus. So that's where it's going to take place. So you'll all get an email for this, but we'd love to see you and have you. And so with that, on behalf of all of us at the college, we say goodbye, and we thank you so much for your generous support and look forward to seeing you again. But last but not least, I would like to thank our staff, and very especially Kathleen. I know that you have done a tremendous amount to make this happen. You thought of every little detail, and I love it. You made our lives so easy. So again, and thank you to all the others who made this possible. Okay, we will see you
Okay.
at the next one.